Hello everybody, this is Mr. Ash and I'm just playing with this real quick. Okay, so I'm going to be adding some light now emanating from my coronavirus, and coronaviruses don't light up, but this is just a fun way to generate light in our scene, and it also allows us to explore other types of materials. So let's make our coronavirus light up. Now I say we need light. I say this because in Blender you're creating a virtual scene, just like in the real world. You have light, and light is necessary to see things. In computer graphics, you have to create virtual lights. Right now, if I click here on my render tab, it shows me what I would get out of it if I hit render right now. And it just looks kind of washed out, and that's because I have light coming in from the world. I need to first turn off world lighting. So I do that by clicking on this red globe looking thing, and I just change the color to black, and now it's just super dark, right? There's no light coming from the world, and now all the light is coming from this little tiny thing here, which is our light source. And I can press G and move it around, and you can see how that light is being updated in real time, which is really neat. This is actually only been capable for a few years, a couple years. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to delete it. Uh-oh. Now, now I can't see anything. Okay, but I'm about to fix it. Oh, and that outline, so good. It actually tells you where it is. Okay, so you can make materials glow, just like you can make them more colorful, you can make them glow. So what I would like to do now is add glowing to this. And you could use these same techniques to like make lightsabers and stuff. I've seen that be done in class. Um, the way we do this is we need a couple things. We need a light source somewhere on our material that is going to make something light up, and then we need some way to restrict that light so that everything doesn't just get so bright you can't see everything. So there's going to be a few noodles here, um, but it's well worth it, I feel. Okay, so first step is adding a shader emission. Okay, this is just how you make things light up. Now, you can add it in two different places. You can add it on a surface, which just makes it into a light bulb. Okay, or you can add it to a volume, which means that it will kind of emanate light and sort of glow, and that is what I want. I want it to emanate light. Okay, the problem is it's not very accurate on Eevee, right? On the real time. That's why it looks so blocky and weird. We need to switch to a ray traced engine. So to do that, we're going to click on this camera icon. We're going to go from render engine to cycles. And this gives us the more precise type of computer generated graphics. This is sort of like what Pixar would use. Okay, ray trace graphics. Here's my coronavirus, but again, you can't see anything. It's just a light bulb, okay? Not very useful. But what we can do is make it so that sections of our coronavirus are selectively transparent, and we'll let the light through, and sections of them are not, and we'll block it. Because if you slap this on top, you actually can't see anything in cycles because the surface of your model is stopping the light from shining through and glowing. So um, we have actually some tools at our disposal right now. We have all of these masks that we've been created. So I'm going to try this finer mask here, the one that we use for our green and blue, and I'm going to plug that into this new noodle that says transmission. And when I do that, you'll see that now the light is only coming through the one specified, the the colorful section specified. So we get the multicolored light coming through, and that just looks a little cooler. Looks a little nicer. And we can make it stronger by changing the value down here. And if you want to color that light before it comes out, you can do that as well by just moving this around. You get some cool effects that way. I think keeping it white is nice because then you just get, I don't know how to get white out of here again. Let's just, oh, it's FFFFFF. Six Fs is white. There we go. But I like how that kind of worked actually. It's pretty good. So maybe I'll have, multiple, you know, types of light source coming out of here, but right now that looks pretty good. I kind of like that. I'm going to show you another way to make light come out of your virus using a tool called ambient occlusion. The way we're going to do that is we're going to plug in ambient occlusion, which is another type of mask, and we're going to plug that into transmission instead. So to get to that, you go through Add, Input, Ambient Occlusion, and this just gives us the factor of how much ambient occlusion there be. And ambient occlusion is when you have details in your mesh that would, in theory, block light, because, you think like a corner of a room is, it's actually going to be a little more dim than the middle of the floor. Okay, so it helps draw attention to crevices. This is exactly what we want here. So I'm going to try to attach that into transmission. And when I do that, what it does is it makes it so that the sections that are really dug in will be brighter, and the settings or the sections that are not so dug in will be darker. And if I go to my material view, or maybe, yeah, material view, and then disconnect this for a second here. I just want to show you what that map looks like. So if I go and I plug it into base color, you can't even see it yet, right? It looks like ambient occlusion is just everywhere on this. It's not giving me a lot of specifics. I'm going to try cranking up the samples. This would make it harder to calculate, but in theory give you better accuracy. So I'm increasing that. Another thing I can do to actually make this more dramatic is using some other nodes. So I can go under Converter, Math, and this allows me to just tweak these values mathematically. Like right now, I could take away basically. Okay, so this is subtract, add, but I can change it to subtract. And if I just want to subtract some values, you see it starts to hide things. So let's try that again, plugging it into transmission, and then put that in the volume again, go into render view. Okay, I can't even see it yet, but if I slowly back off, whoop, starts to give me some more interesting kind of light is what I'm trying to find. You can hold shift down to get better control even. I need to take away enough that it gets black, and then I need to back it up. And that's how I get the effect that I want. Okay, that's pretty good, actually. You can kind of see how the light's coming through in areas that are kind of inverse to where I dug in. So this is backwards, actually. Now, to turn it into what I want, I just need to invert it. So there's actually a node for that. Under Color, Invert. And you just drag this right over it, and now it's flipped around. And that just blew it up too much. I don't like that. Yeah. There we go. It's not like that one. So I don't know. I feel like these two work pretty good. Maybe I want to mix them together, right? So let's try that. And again, you don't have to do this, but you could, if you want to. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go color, mixed RGB, and now because these two maps, now I have two of these maps that I want to use together. Maybe I can just put these together, slap these into transmission. And now I get both of those effects at the same time. I can either, and that allows me to test them out. Maybe it's too bright. Oh, I disconnected color. That's what we need. Ah, There we go. Look up color. And then let's see what that one looks like. Ooh, it's fun. I want to try the invert now that I reconnected color. Let's try putting an invert node into that before we mix it. Ooh. Yeah, so it gives me some like brighter areas along with that thing from before. So I kind of like that. There we go. Anyways, so now I've made a glowing coronavirus model in Blender. And it's a little tricky to look at in Eevee. Let's see, or in Cycle. Let's try Eevee. Maybe Eevee works. Nah, it's the light. Because the light is just being emanated white. It doesn't go through the transparent material the same way. Give you that nice color. Okay, so in the next video, I'm going to do some scene type work and just sort of wrap up this tutorial series. Learning about these noodles is an adventure and a half. It'll take you a long time, but if you just stick to mixing up some basic color or maybe making it glow, it should be pretty easy to figure out. If you need help in person, just let me know. I'll be happy to come over and help you make your coronavirus beautiful. Anyways, thank you. In the next video, we will cover the topic of how to spice up the scene a little bit and then get this rendered. Thank you.